In West Bengal, we have a seventh term leftist government, and we've been working with them. They've been quite amenable and quite supportive of reforms, but they didn't really know how to do it. And it was largely left to us to convince people, carry people. In the background of West Bengal, it's important that this be done. So it was necessary to carry all stakeholders, especially employees, trade unions, the political stakeholders in the first place. The idea really was to first get the whole process into some kind of shape internally, and then once it began to happen, then only to open up to the external environment. I mean, that's the point that I've made here, that where we've been discussing about whether it's a useful thing to do to go for the external environmental support building first, and then or perhaps simultaneously look at the internal. In my view, what worked for us, well, need not necessarily work for all. One size doesn't fit all after all. So in my context, what worked is to first focus on internal communications. That meant hundreds of hours of discussions, negotiations, explanations, not advocacy, purely inquiry, in the inquiry mode, because one had to understand, one could not prescribe from. There was no solution. The whole thing was evolutionary. We had to build as we went along, and ultimately it was successful, and it's been fairly well documented. And I was happy to learn that the bank, many people in the bank have read about the first process, which is the public sector. The power process, power reform exercise is now on. Here again, the underpinning has been communications. I mean, we are talking about organizations that account for about 40,000 people. So to push a change process through them, must firstly explain to them clearly what it's all about, carry them in the process, take all their anxieties, their concerns into account at the design stage, and maintain extensive documentation. These are, and of course, in all communications, what I found useful was a complete consistency. If people saw you saying or heard you saying two different things to two different sets of people, nobody believes you.